Hello, my name is Rick Gentile. In this video, we'll describe sensor fusion and tracking for autonomous vehicles. Autonomous vehicles operate in proximity of other objects, such as vehicles, pedestrians, and cyclists. At such short ranges, sensors report multiple returns from these objects in a single scan. We call these extended objects. There are three techniques to track extended objects. The first technique is to cluster detections and use point object trackers. These trackers have lower computational and memory load requirements. You can use machine learning techniques to classify each cluster. The main disadvantage is that clustering errors may impact tracking results. The second technique is to use soft partitioning and track with extended object trackers. These trackers estimate shape and orientation and are not sensitive to clustering errors. These trackers don't scale well to dense point clouds like the ones received from Lidar sensors. They also require more detailed models for measurements and state transitions. The third technique is to use a grid estimation tracker. The grid can be estimated without clustering or partitioning, which makes it suitable for use in dense urban environments. It can also be integrated with path planners more easily. The main disadvantage is the high computing requirements that often require GPUs. Also, if you want to label the tracks, there's still a need to associate grid cells to tracks. The Sensor Fusion and Tracking Toolbox contains many examples that show how to track autonomous systems using extended object tracking. I'll focus on the newest examples: track-level fusion of radar and Lidar data, and grid-based tracking in urban environments using multiple Lidars. After pre-processing, we start to get detections. To make reasoning possible in planning and control systems, we need to have a central place to hold the sensor object information. To illustrate this concept, we show an example of Lidar and radar tracking and fusion. For the cleaner Lidar point cloud, we choose the first technique of pre-clustering and bounding box fitting to feed a point object tracker. For the noisy radar detections, we choose the second technique using an extended object tracker. You can focus on corner cases to augment data you collect in the field by creating driving scenarios to ensure safety requirements are achieved. You can add sensor models to an ego vehicle, including the Lidar and radar models used in this example. The Lidar model simulates point clouds for the vehicles around the ego vehicle. The green dots represent the raw Lidar point cloud detections. The raw point cloud undergoes segmentation to remove the ground plane and to fit a 3D bounding box from the remaining points. The 3D bounding box is fed to the tracker. Note how the track is maintained for the maneuvering vehicles. Note what happens when the Lidar sensor sees two vehicles next to each other. Watch how the track moves to straddle the ground truth. We'll see how sensor fusion can be used to improve on this performance. Here you can see the 2D point cloud formed from the radar sensor. The blue dots represent radar detections. On the top right, note the ground truth centered around the ego vehicle. In the bottom right plot, you can see the zoomed-in view of one of the vehicles in the radar coverage. The track is represented by a rectangular shape around the ground truth cuboid. These match closely in terms of size and orientation. Now we fuse the Lidar and radar tracks. The objects with fused tracks have the prefix of F. In general, Lidar is higher resolution than radar, so we expect the Lidar track to be better than the radar. Recall what we saw for our Lidar track when the vehicles were next to each other. The Lidar tracks migrated together. This is obviously not desirable behavior. It happens because the Lidar tracker doesn't have enough information to resolve the two tracks. The radar detection includes a velocity component, which is used to distinguish when one actor overtakes the other. The radar track helps greatly for this part of the scenario. It's important to be able to assess the performance quantitatively. We use the GOSPA metric for an integrated view of our fusion performance versus ground truth. Here, lower is better. The Lidar outperforms radar most of the time, but recall where the Lidar track had trouble. The metric shows the radar provided a better result at this point in the scenario, which is right around here. Note also that the fused result is better than either of the individual sensor results across the scenario, as you see with the yellow line. Our second example showcases grid-based extended object tracking. We create a dense urban scene and attach 6 Lidar sensors with different coverage areas to the ego vehicle as shown on the right. We simulate the point cloud returns from the Lidar sensors. Note each Lidar observes only a fraction of the scene. The grid-based tracker assembles these fractions and tracks the overall grid. We use the tracker to fuse Lidar data into the dynamic grid map. On the display map, occupied cells are shown in white. Unoccupied cells are in black, and gray represents unknown occupancy. The color wheel shows the speed and direction of motion for occupied cells that move. We track labels of the objects by associating dynamic grid cells with tracks. Thank you for watching this video. You saw 2 examples showcasing 3 different techniques to track extended objects: cluster then track, extended object trackers, and grid-based trackers.